How do your emotions affect your business? So, one thing I'd like to ask you right off the bat is in regards to any struggle that you've experienced, whether it's a business struggle or challenge, or a life, just a basic life struggle or challenge, or relationship struggle or challenge, what is the part we're avoiding the most? What is the part that we are trying to avoid and stay away from? And like really, really think about that. A lot of people say, well, conflict or um, feeling like you're in a position where you have less power or control. Um, there's many answers to that question. I really would like you to sit with that question and answer it for yourself. Um, my experience is the answer is emotions every time. Just imagine if you didn't have an uncomfortable emotional experience to whatever you were going through or coming up against in business and life, would it be so scary or so uncomfortable? Or if you had the ability to choose in that very moment and always be in control and choose what emotions you're feeling in any given moment, would you be so resistant to moving forward or meeting that challenge or dealing with that confrontation, et cetera, et cetera? Um, in my experience, the answer to that is, well, no. If I could choose to be happy while meeting in a confrontation or feel powerless while meeting in a confrontation, then that wouldn't be a problem. So, from my experience, the main thing we're trying to avoid when we have certain things to do, business and life, is avoid feeling uncomfortable. So, what I'd like to discuss today in a little bit more is what do we do about that? Just to tell you a little story, and that is when I was a kid, I was made fun of all the time. I was in a very wealthy school, but my family had very little. Our church had paid for my brother and I to go to the school. We had very little. The people in the school were very wealthy, and so they had the fancy clothes and the fancy cars, etc. We did not. So I ended up being basically excluded from almost everything, ridiculed, persecuted, um, rejected. And though I had felt like I had overcome much of that as I went through life growing up, what I did find out when I decided to be an entrepreneur online and a coach online was that I still had some stuff to work on. So, my very first time doing a video for my business online put me right back where I was when I was a little girl in that school, being made fun of and rejected. And all I could think about is how everyone that saw the video was going to reject me. But even beyond that, because of that rejection, I also had developed this idea that what I had to say was worthless, that no one would want to listen to me. Who would care what I have to say? Who am I? Who am I? That came up. And that made me feel very inferior. Even though I knew I was good at what I did, I knew that I had overcome so much. There was still something in there, and these started to come up. So my point is that entrepreneurship, coaching, business, many things in life, anything that challenges us is all there for our personal growth. And we can commit to it in a way that says, oh boy, the next time something uncomfortable comes up, that means that I'm up against something that is either from my past that's triggering me, or perhaps it's something new and unknown, and I'm afraid to go into the unknown. But all of those things, there on the other side of that, there's a gem to find. There's some power, some wisdom, extra energy for yourself, all kinds of gifts on the other side of these things. If we know how to address those emotions in a very mature and healthy way. But not only that, communicate with them and draw out the wisdom and the information that they're giving you. And with your adult, and all your experience as an adult, you can take that experience and take that wisdom, that information that they're giving you, and create your own new perspective on it all. And that's what I have found has been one of the most beneficial things for me. So basically, the message of this particular video is that your emotions are there for you. And in my opinion, befriending your emotions is the best path to helping yourself. So what about my story on trying to create video online and being so scared to be rejected and ridiculed and all of the what ifs that I could think of in that moment? It took me 32 takes to do my first video online. It was very challenging and very difficult, but I did get through it. And on the other side of it, I discovered something. And that was, even though I was putting my video out there to attract clients, there was also a secret part of me that was totally the opposite. And it was that even though I was doing all the work to attract clients, I secretly didn't want anyone to show up because I didn't want them to show up, see what I have to offer, and then reject me. So I had to work through all of that to be able to get to the point where I could put my first video out there online. That was 2 years ago. And I have just gotten to the point where I am able to do YouTube videos, and not because of the emotional aspect of it, more so because of learning so much in the past 2 years. And the YouTube option is so that I can create more of an impact. So I really want people to understand that you can befriend your emotions. Your emotions don't have to make you feel as uncomfortable as they do. They themselves can be uncomfortable, but very often because we're resisting them, we make them even more uncomfortable and we suffer more than we have to. And I would love to share with the world what I have discovered and I am providing tools and techniques and coaching to help people with their emotions. So that's my little information for today. Befriending your emotions is one of the best things you can do. And the great way to start is to just start accepting them and experiencing them by saying it's okay for me to feel the way that I do. Now, granted, if in feeling that you're feeling something where you could harm yourself, please get help. If you're just feeling it and it's uncomfortable, notice how by not resisting it and just being with the emotion and paying attention to it and telling yourself it's okay to feel the way that I do, notice how that shifts. You might actually notice that it's not as intense. It's not as maybe scary, or there's not as much resistance. So you're feeling better as you do that. Granted, sometimes when you put focus on them, they do get more intense, and that's okay. If you can keep going with it, they will ease up. But just pay attention to that and play with it. That's exactly how I started. I didn't have any guidance. It took me a long time, 30 plus years, to learn this and get really good at this. So it's a great place to start, and I'll be offering tips. I'll be providing more information as we go along on this YouTube channel. So thank you so much for watching, and have fun getting to know yourself. Take care.